Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Singing Tips Live. My name is Benita Charles, and every week I come on and I give singing tips to beginner singers to help them become professional. A lot of these tips are universal and can apply to any profession. So, hi. Thanks so much for coming in, Pamela. Really appreciate it. Welcome to Singing Tips Live. Hi, Nabaku. Hello. Thanks so much for joining me today. This is Singing Tips Live. It's a show that I come in every week and I give tips. There are a lot of business tips, performance tips. Sometimes I share my life experiences. But this is called Singing Tips Live. I'm having some weird lighting, so bear with me. Sorry. But anyway, the show must go on. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I do have an elevator pitch, and Singing Tips Live is an artist development program that enables music artists to take their careers to the next level. This weekly show on Facebook Live is a show that talks about the show part, that's everything that happens on stage, and the business part, everything that happens behind the stage, and we call this the process. By learning the process, artists will take their careers to the next level. As I stated before, a lot of these tips are universal, so no matter what profession that you have, you can find value from these tips. Today is a show that I wanted to talk about my experience performing at the New York City Marathon as part of the entertainment. This is the second year that I've performed at the marathon, and it was absolutely amazing. And so I broke it out into different parts of my experiences that I'd like to share with you. But before I go into the show, I would like to pause a few minutes and just allow more people to come in, because sometimes I go to the content so fast that a lot of people who want to join, they come in the middle. So, hi, Regina. Thanks so much for coming in. So I figured I'll take my time a little bit more with the content as opposed to diving right in, because a lot of times people miss stuff and I find myself repeating things over and over. So in order to avoid that, I figured let me just not dive in so quick. Hey, Auntie, see there? Auntie, now, normally when you come in, I'm full, into everything, but I decided this time around that I'm going to wait a little bit, let a few people come in. I just basically got started, so you didn't miss anything. Hi, how are you, Auntie? So we haven't started yet. So I figured, you know what? Instead of me just going right into the show like I normally do, maybe I should wait a little bit and let more people come in, and then we'll start. As I was saying before to everyone, this show really is interactive. So please, if you have comments, suggestions throughout the show, please feel free. If you have a business and you want to promote yourself, please, do it respectfully, but I don't mind people promoting themselves, just as long as they're not too pushy about it. But we're all on this journey together, and people have things that can help people. So I say, please feel free. If you have a service, a product that you want to promote, and if you can add something to the conversation, that's even better. It's best not to just sell and not give value. So, if you contribute, please feel free. A lot of my friends who come in here, they're artists, they're business people, they're entrepreneurs. So I definitely encourage them to promote themselves. We're a great audience. Before we get started, I have something exciting to let everyone know. So this is the Singing Tips Live community, and today I created, hi Stephen, thanks so much for coming in. Today I created a Facebook group called Singing Tips Live Community. So you guys can join it, and we can have the conversation outside of the show. Come on into the community. I will be posting things about the show, upcoming shows. I also will post the actual live broadcast, so we could do watch parties. There's forums in there where we can discuss things. So you can give me feedback, suggestions, network. So I really want to grow this community because we have such a great community here. And a lot of times, the show is only like 20 minutes. And I think, people are still, some conversations are more intense than others. So I thought, the group I could go live in the group. So I could even do things in the group that I won't do here. So let's, build it up. But it's Singing Tips Live Community. Yeah, I'm sorry. I gotta have the name here. Let me get it right. But I'm really excited about it because, we can really grow it to whatever we want. So I didn't want to really invite anyone in yet. I wanted to see if people would join, but I may, invite people, especially some of the fans here. Oh, thank you. Yeah, because I have some other ideas. I don't want to say because I don't want to jinx myself, but I have some other ideas, and I figured the group would be a good place to promote things and share, singing tip engagements and different things that's coming up. Throughout the week, I post a singing tip quote. If you follow me on social media, I'll put those quotes in there. Also, these live broadcasts, I'll put those in there. So if you missed the show and you don't want to come to my Facebook page, or like a lot of times my Facebook page is a lot. Because I post every day. But in the group, you can go and see the show. So I thought it's called, what is it called? Singing Tips Live Community. That's the name of the group, Singing Tips Live Community. So I'm really excited about that. So, we'll see what happens, and I would love to see it grow. And if you guys have any suggestions, please feel free. Okay, now we will get into the show. So last week I didn't come on. Now I didn't really announce that I wasn't coming on because I thought I was going to come on Sunday, which was the New York City Marathon performance. But honestly, I was so busy working and I really didn't have an assistant. It was just me. So I couldn't come on. So I'm sorry, guys. Maybe next year, we can do some live stuff. But I had a really great time at the New York City Marathon last week. This was my second year performing, and they invited me back because they enjoyed my performance last year. And I actually ended up at the same place that I was last year in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. But I really, really enjoyed it. The audience loved it. The runners, they were interacting with us, and they seemed like they were really into it. And I found out from a friend of mine who has done the marathon before that where I was near the beginning of the race. So I wasn't quite sure where I was in terms of the race. But when she explained it to me, I was the early part of the race. So she was saying how at that point, the runners are all excited and they're, pumped. But by the time you get to the end, which is Central Park, it's a different story. I can't even imagine because it's 26 miles. So by the time you get to Manhattan, because it goes from all the boroughs, I think it starts on Staten Island or something like, don't quote me, but it starts like, in the outer boroughs, and then you go all the way till you get to Manhattan Central Park. So she was telling me by the time you get to Harlem, you're not there, but you're close. It's another, because I was, like, as I said, I was thinking the opposite. Hi. Oh, thank you so much. I was thinking the opposite. I was thinking I was near the end, but that's not the case because the end of the marathon is Central Park. So, everybody was pumped and, it was excited. Everybody out there, some people were dressed in costumes. Some people were dressed in, all kinds of athletic gear, some with serious athletic gear. And then you saw the people at the end of the race from where I was, that was in the back. They didn't look as enthusiastic and they looked exhausted already. That's why I was thinking I was near the end, because some of the people looked like some people just said, I'm not even running anymore. Some people were walking, some people were doing light jogs. So, that's why I was thinking I was at the end. But it was so amazing. The people the audience, the audience was enthusiastic. They were really supportive. They were giving water to people. They were, cheering people on. It was just really a lovely, lovely day. And you just saw kindness. You saw people really helping the runners, however they needed, whatever they needed. They were right there on at the edge of the road. And it was just it was amazing. So I have like 4 different parts in terms of my experience. So the first thing I want to talk about was the preparation for the race. Oh, not the race. I wish. The performance. One day maybe I will do that. But I admire those people because it's 26 miles. I spoke to, as I said before, someone on my job who's done it before. And I asked her, like, in terms of preparation, like, how far in advance did you prepare? And she said she prepared about 4 to 6 months in advance. But it's a lot of work. So I do admire even the people who weren't running, the people who were walking. I admire them because you know what? You have to be in the race to win. I feel like they were winners because they actually did it. So anyway, the first part I want to talk about is the preparation. So, there's a lot that goes into, I know for me as a performer, there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just, when you see your favorite performers, the A-lister performers, even they prepare, even they rehearse, but they have a team that, they work with, but there's still preparation. So the first thing is the equipment. I had to make sure, because I had to bring my own equipment because the location that I was at, they only provided electricity. So I have a PA system, and that's where I plug my mic in and the amplification. So I had to make sure, my equipment was prepped and ready. I had cords. I had to have extension cords and the big strip, the electric strip that you plug everything in. So my computer, I had a computer with music on it, and so I had to make sure all that stuff was together. Also rehearsal with the band. So I like to at least have one rehearsal, because just so everyone's on the same page. Oh, hi, Lavelle. How are you? Just so everyone's on the same page, and when we're at the performance, we know exactly what we're going to do. So we rehearsed at Rivington Music Studios on the Lower East Side. Good evening. How are you? And it's one of the premier rehearsal studios. One of the very few, because there's not as many left now. But so we rehearsed there, and that's kind of one of our standard rehearsal spaces. Something really amazing happened. So this just goes to show you why you should rehearse. So we're rehearsing in the room. Thanks so much for the hearts. We're rehearsing in the room, and we hear the band that's next door to us, and they sound really good. And I'm like, wow, they sound really good. I heard them singing "Lovely Day," the Bill Withers song. And the lady who was singing, I don't know if she was singing background. I actually thought it was she was the lead singer, but she had a beautiful voice. I said, oh wow, they sound really good. So I was telling my guitarist Peter, and I said, wow, they sound really good. We should add that song, so we started working on that song. It wasn't really part of our repertoire, but I'm like, wow. But I was like, you know what? It's a little last minute. Let's not do that. Let's just wait. But we definitely love that song. So after the rehearsal, we both ended at the same time. The people next door to us, and we, because it was 3 o'clock. So the people were coming out, and I said, "Oh, you guys sounded so great," and they were like, "Thank you." And then, lo and behold, I see Leon from the Five Heartbeats, and I said, "Oh, hi." And I said, "Oh, you guys sounded so good." I said, "Is that your band?" He said, "Yeah, this is my band." I think he's focusing on his music now. I don't know if he's still acting. Well, I don't know. He probably is. I didn't even ask him if he was still doing it. But I was so thrilled to see him because The Five Heartbeats is one of my all-time favorite movies. Like, I can watch that movie. I actually own the movie. I watch it over and over, and every time I watch it, I love it, I enjoy it, and it's almost like I'm seeing something new for the first time. I always catch different things, but it's just such a wonderful story. Great, it's very well done. Robert Townsend did such a wonderful job with that movie, so I was so thrilled to see him. But normally, well, it's weird because when I first came to New York, I used to see a lot of stars, but I don't see them as much as I used to. And I always try to make a point to not bombard stars with, "Oh, can I take a picture?" And so I originally just said, "Oh, great job, blah, blah, blah." So I left, and then I just said, "You know what?" I told Peter, I said, "Peter, can you watch my stuff?" I said, "I really want to see if I can get a picture." So I ran back, and as he was coming up the stairs, and I said to him, "Oh, thank you. Good to catch you live. Oh, I'm so glad you caught me live too." So I said, "I'm so sorry. Can I take a picture?" And he said, "Sure." And so we took a picture, and it was just so, first of all, he was gracious and he was humble. And I love that. I love to see stars who, they don't, because some stars, they get irritated with fans or they just act like they don't want to be bothered. But he was so gracious, and, I really complimented him on his music because I really enjoyed what I heard. So, I was asking him about his band and everything. But he was so gracious to take a picture. So if you go to my Facebook page, you will see a picture of me with Leon, and I got my arm around him. I was just so thrilled that he was so kind enough to take the picture. And he looks the same. He hasn't changed in a bit, and just so gracious. But it was a great experience, and it also made me realize, if I didn't rehearse, I would not have met him. So you really do have to show up, and as you see, the stars rehearse too. But that was great. That was like the highlight of my weekend. When did we rehearse? Oh, actually, we rehearsed Saturday. It was the day before the show, which I don't normally like to do that, but it kind of worked out that way. But that was the highlight of the weekend, and I was like, okay, great. So I'm gonna have a great show. Over 20 years ago. Oh, hair. Oh my, it's been 20 years. That was we did hair in Detroit 20 years ago. And that was such an amazing experience. Now, I'm a little embarrassed. But if you guys know hair, it's like the story of, it's like a hippies, and it's some free love, and there's a nude scene in there, and you're only nude for like 30 seconds, but that was the weirdest experience. It was weird. Like, I mean, it really wasn't that long, but anyway, that's a whole nother, we might have to talk about, that's a whole nother story. But that was really a great show, and you know what I loved about the show is the actors, it just made us closer. We just all got along, and it was just the spirit of the show. A lot of free love, not love in the sense of, you know what I mean, but just really connecting with each other, and it was just such a great, and everybody was respectable about the nude scene and all that. It was nothing crazy, but it was just a weird on stage. It was just a weird experience. And it was like 30 seconds, lights out. And I asked one of my friends in the audience, I said, "Did you see anything?" And they were like, "Yeah, you could see." But it was like really quick, and I was like, oh, "Okay." But it was really a great show in the sense of just everyone getting along. He said, "You did." I did. Oh, I only did it once. I remember it. I thought I did it more than once, but okay, once is enough. But it was just, well, I will say it was freeing. Like, you felt free because it was like you were totally vulnerable and you were totally open. That was the whole point. But it was just a great experience in the sense of everyone got along. We just became friends, and I still remain friends with a lot of people outside of the show. So it was really a great show. But yeah, my theater experience in Detroit, I had some really great shows that I did at the Detroit Repertory and some of the other theaters surrounding Detroit. So it was a lot of great fun. But anyway, back to the marathon. Trip down memory lane. Yeah, so we rehearsed at Rivington, met Leon. That was a great experience. So the next day was the show. So the second point I want to make is show up. So the show was at Sunset Park, Brooklyn, and I have here, get to your location early enough to allow yourself time. It was an awesome experience. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. It really was. Oh, thank you. Oh, you saw that, Auntie? Yeah, that was so much fun. It was just, and it was a huge cast. And we all got along, and it just made us closer. It was just such a wonderful experience. Yeah, so I wanted to say to get to your destination, allow enough time, because what happened was I was given the wrong location, and all my promotion and everything I put out, I had the wrong location. So luckily, I allotted enough time so that when I got to the location that I thought I was supposed to be at, they said, "Oh no, this is not." There was another band setting up, and I was like, I think I'm supposed to be here. And so I spoke to the site manager at that location, and she says, "Oh no, we don't have you. We have you at another location." I was like, "Really?" Luckily, it was only 4 blocks away, so we could walk. And so we were there early enough so that we could set up, and we didn't lose a lot of time. Plan for the unexpected. First of all, they gave us the wrong location. So, and luckily it was close enough the right location was close enough to where we were. And the site manager at the location that we were supposed to be at was panicking. He said, "Oh, Benita Charles is not here." So when I saw him, I said, "Well, we got the wrong location, so sorry." But so it wasn't really a big deal because we weren't far away, and we had enough time to set up. And the place that I chose had electricity, because if I had chosen another place, I would have had to get a generator, and with all the stuff I have to lug, that would have been another thing. Or maybe I would have had to rent a vehicle because I already have enough equipment, so I didn't have to worry about that. So that's one of the reasons why I like the location, is because they had electricity. And also another reason why I like this location is it's not really crowded. There's some locations in Manhattan that you'll go to, and they said it's just, you can't breathe, you can't move. I didn't want that, and I love where we were because we could see the runners. The audience was there, but it wasn't overbearing. So I really enjoyed that. And there was a gentleman from who lived in the neighborhood who was there last year and remembered me, and he says, "Oh, you did so great. I'm so glad." He's like, "Are you coming back next year?" So I'm thinking I might request this location next year because I just like it for so many reasons, and it's not a lot of crowds, so you can breathe, you can move, you can see everything. So the performance, I performed my original music with my band, and then I did some tracks when they left because they didn't stay the whole time. My slot was 3 hours, and then so I wasn't gonna sing for 3 hours in the cold. So I played music, and I played like a DJ. So I played music, and then sometimes during the music, I would encourage the runners, and say I would cheer them on, on the microphone, and I would say things like, "We're proud of you. Keep pressing, keep pushing, keep going. You're doing it. Good job." And my site manager loved it. He said, "Oh, wow, that's really great." Like, he really loved what I was doing because I mixed it up. I didn't just do one thing, and I couldn't sing for 3 hours. I would just totally blow my voice out. So that was the performance. And my experience, I would say the overall thing is I just had such a sense of accomplishment, especially knowing that I made the day of the runners and just gave them some encouragement, and along with the audience, they were very supportive. So it just was a really great experience just to know that I could encourage someone. So I hopefully they'll ask me back again next year, and do it again next year. But it was a really great experience. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Just some things that I experienced, and it was awesome. It was really, really awesome. So I have some special announcements. So coming up next week, a week from today, Preacher Man and the Revival will return to Rubalad, which is an eclectic hotspot in Brooklyn. We've performed there several times before, so we're returning. And that's next week, Saturday, starting at 8:30. And to RSVP, you email rubalad@outlook.com for a secret location in Brooklyn. Friday, December 13th at 10 p.m., Preacher Man and the Revival will return to the Shrine. This is a place in Harlem that we often performed before, but we'll be returning on December 13th. It's 2271 Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard. Join us for an Atomic Soul set. On Tuesday, December 31st at 11 p.m., the band will return to Rubalad to ring in the New Year 2020. So come on out. If you don't have anything to do for New Year's Eve, come on out to Rubalad and ring in 2020 with Preacher Man and the Revival. And as I said earlier in the show, I have a new Facebook group called Singing Tip Live Community. So if you go on Facebook and search and you type in Singing Tips Live Community, please join the group. This is a group that I started for after the show, things that happen after the show. We can continue the conversation. We can network. I'll post the show. I'll post anything Singing Tip related. So I just really want to grow this community, and I want us to get to know each other, network, and you can promote yourself as long as it's not spamming, as I encourage people on the show. So I'm really excited about that. And you can always go to my website, benitacharles.com. I currently have 1,981 hits. So I want to thank everyone for their support. And I want to thank you guys for your support of Singing Tips Live. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to growing and, moving forward. So, hold on. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. The change of the weather. But I want to thank you guys so much for your support. And I want to thank you so much for hanging in there with me, on these Singing Tips Live shows. Today's show was about my experience with the New York City Marathon Entertainment. It was absolutely amazing. The audience was so supportive and encouraging to the runners. The runners were exciting. You saw all levels. They had the elite athletes. They were first. Well, first, I'm sorry, before them were the special needs athletes, and then the elite athletes, and then everyone else. And then at the end, you saw people who obviously were not athletic, but they wanted to take part. They were just walking. But, you know, I was proud of all of them. I was proud of every single group that participated, because even if you weren't a super athlete, the fact that you did it, the fact that you were in it, the fact that you just walking in it, people participated in the marathon for various reasons. Some people, you know, did it as a dedication. Oh, hello, how are you? I really appreciate you coming in. People did it. Some people did it in honor of loved ones. Some people did it as a personal, achievement. So, you know, there were people who did the marathon for various reasons, and it was just so wonderful to see all the people participate, and even more wonderful to know that I could lift someone's spirit and just encourage them to keep going. Oh, hi, how are you? Thanks so much for coming in, Richard. Appreciate it. But it was absolutely an amazing experience, and hopefully they'll ask me back again next year. I would love to do it again, and just keep the momentum going, and hopefully get the same spot, because like I said, it was perfect because it wasn't too crowded. You were able to see everything. You were able to, you know, everyone could interact with each other, and it was absolutely amazing. Weather was perfect. It wasn't as cold this year as it was last year, so that was even great, because last year was freezing, but this year it was bearable. You know, it was manageable. But it was an amazing experience. I want to thank you guys so much for your support of the show. It means a lot. It really means a lot. That's why I started the Facebook group, because I figure, you know, because sometimes we have such great conversations that, you know, we can carry it over. And, you know, I want this community not just to be about me, but to be about you, and, you know, any suggestions you may have or whatever you would like. Please feel free to let me know. And I just really want to grow it. I didn't invite anyone. I wanted to see if anybody would just, you know, sign up themselves. But I will start inviting people if I don't see anybody. It's Singing Tips Live Community on Facebook. So if you go to the search and it's a group. So if you go to the search and you type in Singing Tips Live Community, that is the group. So it just started today. Hope to see you guys. And as I said, next Saturday, the Preacher Man and the Revival will be at Rubalab. And it's a secret location. So you RSVP rubalad@outlook.com for the address. So hope to see you guys there. I want to thank you so much for all of your support. As I said before, go to benitacharles.com for any information you want to know about me, my whereabouts. But if anyone, before I go, I just want to see if anyone has anything they'd like to say. What is that? Oh, yes, you have to be in it to win it. That's what I'm saying. I just was so proud of everyone in the marathon who participated, no matter what level they were, no matter, you know, where they were in the lineup. Of course, you know, the elite athletes, they were finished long before everyone else. But just to be in it, you have to be in it to win it. I love what Richard said. Be more active and support the scene here in Ireland. Definitely be checking everything. Oh, great. Thank you. Let's see if I can read. Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, I try to keep everything on my website up to date, so you know where I am. But please absolutely come to, make sure you go to the website if you have any questions. Also, I'm on social media, so if we are friends on Facebook, I try to post everything on Facebook as well, on my social media, to keep everyone abreast of what's going on. But anyway, I'm going to go. I just want to thank you guys so much for your support. Let's keep the community going. Let's keep the conversation going on the Facebook group. That's why I started it, because I know I'm not on here that long, like 20, 30 minutes, but we could keep it going. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know. I have some ideas, but I'm looking forward to continuing the conversation. So I will see you guys next week for the next Singing Tips Live. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Have a beautiful Sunday tomorrow. Have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. And I will see you next time on Singing Tips Live.